Alright, so now that we got everything out of the way, I guess we'll go into the second round. Hello everybody, I'm Undead.
I'm Walker.
I'm Blade.
And I'm Undead.
And I'm Cancer.
And I'm Blade.
I am the mattress man.
No.
Undead. Sometimes.
No.
I know you hate that. I know you hate it, and that's why I do it. I do it just so you hate me.
Of course.
That's why I do it.
That's the
I do
reason
it
I
just
exist.
so you hate me. I do it just so you.
Oh my god, I hate Union. Because he just now messaged me. He was like, "You streaming tonight?" And I literally was, as soon as I posted to the Discord, and he's in the Discord, he should know. And I'm just like, bro.
I don't think he fucking checks the Discord.
I just now messaged him. I was like, Discord, check it now.
Oh my god, it's
I
the
hate that
Tuda
kid.
bug.
Dust Tuda. Welcome to the stream.
Oh my god.
She's saying, hey, my dude. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Alright, so Walker, you read Ready Player One, didn't you?
I did. I love that book.
Okay, so everyone I know who's actually
Whoops.
seen the movie. Oh,
my
Jesus!
God.
Everyone I know who's
Jesus
seen the movie, they said the movie is nothing like the book.
I would not be surprised. It doesn't look very much like the book at all. Like it.
And the fact that they have Tracer in it.
Well, they're just doing that for, like, you know, cameos, which, you know, fan service, stuff like that. I'm okay with that, especially because it adds a bit of realism to the movie. The fact that it puts in, like,
Yeah.
actually, like, noticeable video game characters.
Yeah,
But-
but you know, there's
but
no
from-
Fortnite.
I haven't seen the movie myself, but from the trailer, it looks very much like it looks like the only noticeable things from the book are the stacks, maybe the Sixers. I don't even know if they're the antagonists, and that's kind of it. Which is okay, because I don't know
Another
if the
thing-
book itself would make a good movie. But I don't know. People have been liking it so far.
I haven't heard that much negativity about it, but it's also, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you hear about it, but you don't hear bad about it, you don't hear good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I never heard anything bad about Suicide Squad until I watched it. And I personally enjoyed Suicide Squad up until the very end.
Yeah.
I just
I
kind
know
of
the thing
hated how, like, Jared Leto portrayed the Joker.
No one
Like,
liked
I
it, but I
understood
don't know. I
where
liked
he
it.
was where he was going at with it, but I just I don't.
I
Like
mean,
that
I don't know.
Joker.
I think it helped me not being a huge comic book guy in general. I didn't really know how the Joker should act, so I was kind of like, okay, this Joker seems cool.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I never cared for DC, so, you know, Suicide Squad is one of those movies where it's like, you know, you watch it, you don't watch it. I mean, I'm not
Well, a lot of people are pretty passionate about how bad it is, and looking over, like, the themes that didn't take place and how the ending went, I can definitely understand why people don't like it. It was disappointing how the movie just didn't stick with any specific theme throughout the entire movie, and that's kind of what makes a story, sticking with the theme.
Oh, definitely.
This is a
And, you know, you
strong
see that-
rule in movies, books, and video games.
You know, you see that a lot in video games now, too. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, how often... I mean, I think we're pretty avid gamers. I think we're, you know, not casual. I think we're pretty competitive and consistent in our type of gaming. But seeing the lack of story in something like an MMO, something that might not require, or not require, but depend heavily on its story to keep players involved, seeing that fall apart, it's just kind of depressing, you know?
Well,
Look
I
at
think
the old- you look
an
at the older
issue.
MMOs and you see,
I think an issue comes with bad storytelling just in general in video games. A lot of the classic stories have been told, and when it comes to that, there's just not a lot of creativity that goes into the story of most video games. That's probably where the idea that single player games are dying around now, because the reason you play a single player game is usually for its story, or at least for the experience it gives.
and another thing that, another thing I think you and I talked about a while back was, you know, you play Fallout 4, mind you, Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, you know, I absolutely love Fallout 4. But one thing that I came to realize was that, you know, Fallout 3, you're a son looking for your father. Fallout 4, you're a father looking for your son. The family aspect of the series in itself is a great aspect to follow up on because it's something everyone can relate to. But in the end, it becomes just the retelling of the same thing over and over again. People get bored of it.
That's very true. You got to respect the creators of Fallout for trying to stick with the family theme after 3, but you can't like kind of overuse it the same way they did. Just kind of flipping the idea of it on its head doesn't make it anything new, and that's probably where my biggest issue with the Fallout 4 story comes from.
And you know, the problem with the game wasn't just the story, it's also a lot of mechanics in the game that it's heavily focused on the settlement building system. You expect more from a Fallout game. Another thing I know you and I agreed on was that it's a good game, but a terrible Fallout game.
Yes, I always say that the game would be much better if it didn't hold the Fallout title with it.
And you know, that's entirely understandable.
Because it wasn't by any means a bad game. It had tons of content, had good story for the most part, had fun followers. I actually did enjoy most of the followers that I existed with the game. It wasn't until the DLCs that it definitely looked like they started running out of ideas.
Another thing that really got me was the DLCs themselves. You know, you'd expect the Fallout games to have more DLC, you know? I mean, you have one Science-based DLC, one Raider-based DLC, you know? Then Fallout 4 comes along and it shakes the whole pattern.
Well, my issue with the Fallout DLC is that there was nothing really creative about it. Robots in Automaton. Okay,
Far Harbor was just Point Lookout retold.
Exactly, and then all the other DLCs were... Oh, Nuka World, though. Nuka World, you gotta hand it to Nuka World. It's pretty cool.
Nuka World had its creative moments, but was still heavily relied and still heavily focused on the settlement system. Mind you, I still enjoyed it, but it was something where it's a selective enjoyment. It's something
I think
that you selectively enjoy.
Yeah, I never got to finish the DLC myself, but I really had to admire how, like, that they actually made a point to try to change what went wrong in the main game in not Point Lookout, Nuka World. It definitely looks like they made the attempt, and to a certain extent it worked.
Another thing that really caught me was, so recently, well, this wasn't recent, but it's not too long ago, was the Road to Liberty team that have been developing a mod recreating Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 had to be stopped. And you know, I think that would be a mod really good for Bethesda. I think that would be a great thing for Bethesda. You know, it's rebuilt. It's basically, they're making a remaster of the game that they don't have to even do. Mind you, the reason that had to be shut down was because of copyright issues for voice content, which is entirely understandable, copyright reasons for games. But you also have to realize that it's a community project and that it being a mod, an open source product, there shouldn't be any copyright restrictions. That would have made Fallout 4 about 1,000 times better if you could let people see and compare it to what it originally was.
Copyright is certainly a very limiting factor on the creative process in creating arts such as video games and movies and books, as we keep talking about. I definitely noticed that, but it's not like you can't have copyright. You need copyrights, just as a law in general.
And I understand that people on YouTube, not smaller channels like yourselves, smaller entities, I understand that larger channels have to be careful of copyright strikes and infringements. Music channels have to be careful. Media-based channels, production-based channels have to be extremely careful.
Of course, PewDiePie, in the past 5 years, I'm going to say, has become such a big icon in just about every source of media now, even though he started out on YouTube. And now he has to be extraordinarily careful on what he says, who he talks to. There's a lot more business side when it comes to someone who, about not even 7 years ago, was working on his own in his room making video games, or making videos on video games for fun.
Exactly. And, you know, now another thing is that, you know, kind of going off topic, you know, you go look at all the original high-class YouTubers, you know, the Yogscast, Captain Sparkles, Scott is Minecraft. A lot of the people who built their empire, their YouTube empire up on Minecraft, either they disappeared or they're just gone. And those were the titans of YouTube. In essence, I mean, you can agree or disagree with it, but the evidence is there. Minecraft made YouTube, in essence. But now that people are shifting away, Twitch is becoming more of the mainstream media, and YouTube is falling back. Because you look at Twitch and you start to think, well, Twitch has Fortnite streamers, and Twitch is starting to become more optimized. I think YouTube, within 5 to 10 years, is not going to be as big as it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, it's probably the idea that internet media like Netflix and YouTube is such a growing concept, and it's such a fast concept that there has to be changes extraordinarily often. Like about 5 years ago, Minecraft was a top thing, and survival games were the most important thing. Now it's battle royale games like Fortnite and PUBG.
Yeah.
And in another
definitely.
in another 2 or 3 years, those will start slipping away, and we'll have some other internet fad, particularly gaming-wise, to look at. As popular as they are now, they're eventually going to lose their momentum and fall. But for now, everyone enjoys these games, everyone plays them, everyone watches videos on them. So for the time being, it is what it is.
Exactly, and it's an ever-changing medium. But, I mean, like I was trying to say before, you know, if you go back and look at it, all the old people, all the old streamers, the content creators, everyone who made YouTube what YouTube was initially 4 or 5 years ago, those are just people you don't see creating content anymore. Yogscast, they don't really perform as much as they used to. And I think before the podcast, I actually went and I started looking at different channels, you know, it's like, looking at their viewer base from how they used to be to how they are now, it's noticeable in the difference of the content and the difference of the people who watch the videos.
Yeah.
Some content creators wised up and grew up with the demographic. Some people just keep rehashing the same material and never grow.
Yeah, have you ever gone back to a YouTuber you stopped watching about 4 or 5 years ago and looked back at their channel and been like, wow?
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
It's pretty crazy.
Yogscast. Mind you, you know, you think of Yogscast and you think of, you know, these are some childish, you know, some you would see, you know, kids watching. Not really, not anymore. Because, I mean, look at their Gmod videos. Their Gmod videos are, I mean, they're funny and weird. You know, and it's entirely a medium based on different people, you know. I mean, you can't have one channel to satisfy everybody. I mean, Blade, I know you of all people who've been, for what, a year now, trying to build your channel. You have, I don't know how many different types of videos on separate topics.
Oh yeah. I'm out there with everything.
That actually holds a new point. Going back to the fast-growing piece of the internet's still relatively new in terms of entertainment and industry, and that's easily shown. Actually, a YouTuber we've mentioned earlier, Captain Sparkles, has this theory, because people tend to argue that his channel's dead and his sub count's extraordinarily, or his view to sub ratio is extraordinarily low, which it is, but he argues that I'm sorry, let me try to put this into words. He argues that with the change in the variation of his content, the fact that now he's not as much of a Minecraft YouTuber as he once was, not as many people are held to his attention on his channel. Some people, now he still has a fairly respectable view account, but that's because he still makes content people like. He doesn't have a very high ratio because he's got so many different types of content on his channel now. He does Reddit reactions, trials, still Minecraft, and it's very noticeable in the videos that he shows.
I noticed Markiplier's been doing a lot different content recently. You know, it's these spring up games, you know, it's the indie media that's been building smaller YouTubers and growing larger ones, you know? I mean, you ask anyone 4 or 5 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, who was Markiplier, they just said, well, we don't know. You ask anyone around the time that Five Nights at Freddy's came out, who was Markiplier, got a FNAF. You know, they're, I mean, in essence, I don't think Markiplier would be that much different without FNAF, but I think not as many people would know about him without it.
It definitely
There's such a variation in
It definitely comes to that idea that different types of entertainment can influence others. Video games influence
definitely.
YouTube to an extraordinary amount, even though they aren't necessarily supposed to intertwine the way they are.
Oh, exactly. And YouTube, I mean, essentially, YouTube wasn't a media based around entertainment and gaming. YouTube was meant as a media. It was intentionally social media, but it just changed over time. I mean,
Oh God, who turned on the ride?
I mean, oh God, and I mean, it just became something of. It became such a community-developed game. It became something made by the community for the people who support the community.
Yeah.
But the death of YouTube is the algorithm and the demonetization of content. The people who have made a living supporting your website, you are now making them go broke because you do not support the type of content they go. And you know, you do that, and you are digging your own grave. You are making them, you're putting their livelihoods at risk.
I've argued this before. I think anything bad that happens to YouTube or any sort of entertainment source on the internet, it comes with the fact that this is the change of an era. Not a lot of people see it, but I can almost bet that, say in 20 years, when you open up the history book, the very last page will include something about the change of era in the technological revolution that we're in right now. Everything's changing. This has happened in the Industrial Revolution, in the Renaissance, time and time again in history. It looks like what the lives we lead now are changing for the worse, but in reality, we're changing for the better to further adjust to the type of world we live in today. This one, back about 60 years ago, 60 to 100 years ago, we lived in a more industrial age. Now it's more of a technological one, so we're adjusting to it.
Oh, definitely.
Also, blade your lawn elf.
People argue,
There you go.
and people will argue now that, you know, this online media is going to be the death of our modern society, but I think it's the evolution of our modern society. You know, it's just that kind of thing you have to look into.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. So, you know, we're not sponsored. We're too small to be sponsored. But you know,
I'm
there's something I
sponsored.
gotta point out. Shut up.
I sponsor myself.
So there is one thing I do want to point out. You know, I just bought a pair. I went online. I bought a pair of MeUndies. It's kind of like loot box. It's kind of like that, but they send specialty made comfort underwear. They're long lasting and they're high quality.
Okay, this is what I think this is. Can I ask?
If you want to.
Why?
Because, you know, someone recommended it to me and I had a voucher.
A voucher. Okay.
Hey,
Well,
I had a voucher.
I mean,
and I
hey,
used it.
okay, since he's doing that, can I also plug a thing that I bought?
I mean, if you want to plug, go ahead. But I'm telling you.
I mean, okay, so like we're like he said, we are not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But if you guys are like really big into like e-cigarettes and vaping and all
You
that,
fool! You killed me.
See, that's what happens.
And,
That's what happens when you vape blade.
I'm sorry. But I actually went online and made a account with vapewild.com, and actually right now, if you guys go on there and make an account, you guys can get a free sampler if you put in the code WELCOME10. They will ship you out like a free sample of most of their popular like stuff and a mystery one. There's always going to be a mystery one, and there's going to be some of their like high top selling stuff. I bought a Green Apple Envy, and it's actually really good. And you know that there's also other flavors they have. If you guys like other like custards, they have like a thing called King Cake. They have buttery nuts. which I haven't tried yet. I got that with my free thing, and it seems weird. It sounds disgusting, buttery nuts, but I'm gonna try it one of these days. So yeah.
Sponsored
Oh,
by
another thing is
sponsored by
that-
Pornhub, where you get all your buttery nuts.
Oh, okay. So I know Blade was with me when I found this out. So April 1st, I went on Pornhub. It's Cornhub, not Cornhub. Pornhub. It was Hornhub.
Yeah, it was Hornhub. It was just a bunch of horns.
It was
Like,
you
people
know,
playing horns, like...
the video on top.
Ah,
was
finally a
young
fetish for
horns
me.
blown. You know, another thing is that, you know, IPs like, you know, like things like Pornhub, you know, that's one of the funniest things you ever come across. Because Pornhub doesn't care. Pornhub knows what Pornhub is.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, it takes balls to say, I mean, Pornhub will say,
Oh, you bet it does. Pornhub has all of them.
Pornhub has plenty of
you know,
balls.
Pornhub is actually very deep. Pornhub, despite what
Oh,
it
it's
is-
deep. You're making this way too easy.
I know I am. You know, but despite Pornhub being what it is, it's such a joking thing, you know? I mean, Valentine's Day, they're free. April 1st, they make a joke of themselves, you know, it's... I mean, personally, I think I'd love to look at Pornhub. Really? You had nothing for that one.
Oh, you're gonna be working in Pornhub.
So,
There we
my
go.
guns went missing. My dual fucking 500 Magnums went missing.
Oh, Pornhub's got a gun. Okay, I'm done. Would you
Fucking better be.
would you like
They got a
my
gun for
second
you.
dual? Would you like my second 9mm so that you have dual pistols?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I found it.
So actually, I wanted to talk, since we're playing this game on podcast for the first time. We're playing Killing Floor 2, which came out 2 years ago, I think. And the development team on this game's relatively small, especially when you compare it to Bethesda or Ubisoft. It's a very small development team. Content updates come out for this game 4 times a year, around every change of the season. But it's a very fun game. It's an extremely fun zombie survival game with a PvP aspect that I've never really touched, an endless mode that's just recently been added, and many like events and game modes to keep you on your toes. Even when the normal survival that we're doing right now gets really boring, we're actually playing a Halloween map that came out, you know, last Halloween.
Last year.
Yeah. There's also a Christmas map that came out again this Christmas, and that's about it when it comes to seasonal maps. But this game comes out with new maps and new content, you know, as often as it takes to keep you enthralled in the game, and I really appreciate it. Anyone who does play Killing Floor, give the dev some love. This game is very good. It was free at some point on PlayStation, I think during the summer. So you'd have to buy it at a cheap price during the sale again if you wanted it to pick it up. But it's a very fun game.
You know,
If you're falling on budget.
another game that does remind me of Killing Floor that I know me and Blade played a shit ton. Definitely Payday 2. Despite, you know, how large the game is and how rare it gets updated. Whenever the updates come out, the updates will last you a good week or two.
Oh yeah.
And then, I mean, if you're new to the game, and it has something for everybody. I mean, in essence, it has a little bit of something for everyone.
Payday
You
2 is
never
a
know what you might find that you like.
Payday 2 is a very fun game. If you have 3 friends, which is extremely hard to find now, unfortunately, but pick up 3 friends and play some Payday or some Killing Floor, you'll have a bunch of fun. I think in essence, I just love co-op games the most.
Oh, definitely. You know,
me and
there's
Theo-
there's just something.
Not long after, what game was it? A Way Out. Not about a day after A Way Out came out. Me and Theo beat it. You guys are playing through it on Blade's channel, right?
Actually, pretty soon we're gonna start a playthrough of it. Not episodic, but stream episodic. So look for that on the community channel.
And one thing
On this current channel.
one thing I love about A Way Out, besides its just fantastic story, is the way they utilize co-op in such a great way. Co-op is so fun if you pick up a friend. And when it came to when it came to A Way Out, I think what really sold it for me and Theo, who I played it with, was just the fact that we had such different ideas when we were playing the game as these two characters with different ideas. It just made the experience so much better. I highly recommend, if you were to pick up the game, play with someone who you tend to argue with a lot. It's straight up, like, you have conversations with, because you'll have some hella conversations with that game. It's very entertaining and really fun, and it's
like
great.
Me and Undead, for instance. Like, me and Undead, we argue how many times per day?
We argue.
Exactly.
You know, another thing about A Way Out is though, you know, I know Walker, I know you don't watch movies. Blade, I know you watch some movies. One of my favorite movies of all time, I think a movie everyone should see before they die, is a Shawshank Redemption. I think if you watch the Shawshank Redemption and you remember the story from Payday, you know, you just see the parallels. And
Definitely,
it's
no.
not a bad thing.
I kept drawing conclusions between the first chapter in A Way Out and Shawshank.
Oh, yeah. No, you know, it's like you notice it once, and it's like you can't tell if it's an homage of love or just a blatant ripoff. But either way, it executes itself so well.
Well, I think the game's supposed to make itself appear as like a. It's supposed to give off that illusion that it kind of feels like a 70s movie, or whenever Shawshank came out. It really feels like one of those sorts of movies.
It does, and it does it
Blade, we need to
well,
run.
surprisingly. You know, I remember when the new Mad Max, the most recent Mad Max came out. I remember you went and saw it. You said you had good impressions of it.
I love that Mad Max movie. It made me watch the original Mad Max, which, by the way, is very different from the newer one. The original Mad Max actually isn't even post-apocalyptic. The only similarities it shares is the main character's Max. He likes cars, and he's mad. Oh, and it's in Australia. Those are the only similarities that those movies share. But they're just such good movies.
They really are. You know, what someone asked me a while back, you know, why do you like Mad Max? Like, it's the same reason I like Fallout, you know? It's good storytelling, and it tells of what happens whenever we fail.
I can definitely agree. Not only does it, like, not slack out on the action, which is what I find, a very strong lack of in other popular medieval or post-apocalyptic or sci-fi movies. It has plenty of action scenes, but what I love about it most is just like it mixes in with the action scenes with these controversial topics and this great storytelling at every turn.
And I mean, you look at the appeal of Mad Max. It's like it's this game. It's this game. It's also a game, but it's a movie based around what happens whenever we're faced with this situation where we know we're gonna fail, but we're clinging and we're trying to succeed. You know, it's
Mad Max, I definitely think
to marvel at, really, in essence.
Definitely, Mad Max is definitely a perfect example on why video games are just a wonderful form of art. Video games and movies. If you were wondering why we keep referring to it as video game, there is a Mad Max video game that came out around the same time as the movie, and it is very good. Like, it is surprisingly very good.
And personally, you know, looking back on the past couple years of all the content that we've played together, all the movies we've seen, the amount of arguments we had, you know, it's whenever you find a group of people who have completely different play styles and completely different outlooks on games, you know, you start to realize, you know, the media as itself can bring the weirdest people together, you know.
Definitely.
Oh, I mean, look at us. I mean, we are the most mixed match group of people you can ever imagine. I mean, we still hang around each other.
Yeah,
lack
we
of
still
food.
What are you talking
hate
about?
each other as much.
What you talking about? We're fighting zombies in a freak show. We're perfectly normal.
Don't make me use this.
What is this exactly?
What's he even do?
Oh no.
Okay, so
sword.
So no one else is gonna get that, you know, but what happened earlier was that we were playing Overwatch, and, you know, this prick playing Hanzo shot me when I was ulting as Genji. Like, you know.
So, basically all you could hear was, Hawaiiwa, Shinda,
You know, another thing,
It was the most anticlimactic thing, and it was hilarious.
okay, so, you know, Another thing that I think we never really touch on, especially in all of the podcasts, every single podcast we've done, I know one thing we never touched on was our personal feelings really on just about movies, you know? I mean, yeah, we do talk about movies sometimes. We never really get into movies.
I thought you were gonna like just stop at personal
Yeah.
feelings. And I was like, I don't want to talk about
You know-
what I feel.
you know,
Let's
we
all
get
hold
into-
hands and sing Kumbaya.
You know, I don't think that's why we're here. You know, another thing is that, you know, you start getting into the movies. And I said, you know what movie I really enjoyed? Most people seem to have hated this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. That
You
was
know,
fucking,
actually, ironically, me and my nieces, whenever I was, actually earlier today, I was hanging out with my sister and my niece, and we were having dinner together and whatnot at their house. And, my niece wanted me to, run her over to the Kroger Redbox so we can go find a good movie. So I let her
you
use,
people
like,
in your Krogers.
I let her use
have
like
Walgreens.
$5 on my card, just just go in, like, find a movie, and she comes back with not a movie but my card, and she's like, I kind of don't know what to choose. I'm just like, choose whatever, and then she was like, yeah, but you guys won't like what I wanted to choose. I'm just like, well, you know, fine. So I went in with her, and dear God, I've never realized how many movies one box could have in. Like, dear God.
Oh yeah,
How
the
many
number of movies.
there are in life.
Oh, you should hear how many people tell me to watch this movie or that movie or,
Yeah.
like, it's crazy. Out of the three of us, I'm fairly confident I am the least movie adept. I go to watch movies
yeah.
like once every blue moon. I don't know, and I don't watch movies that are
Fortnite.
Fortnite's too popular. Anyway,
Once every PUBG.
once every PUBG. Once every Paladin's Battle Royale. I'm sorry.
No, once every Smite Battle Royale.
Oh god,
Oh,
that's called a
no.
that sounds totally like something would happen.
But yeah,
And
we
I don't want
really
that.
decide on we decided on a movie, and that's because I texted like my sister. We were like, hey, what should we get? And she decided on buying Unfriended, and it was like a horror movie or whatnot about
Oh, is
people.
that-
I know what the-
Is that that
That was
movie
a
with the?
really
Yeah.
shitty
Is that
movie.
the Facebook
was-
ghost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it
it
was
was
Skype, it
so
was Skype.
crappy,
Oh,
and I
you
hated
disliked
it.
my
So
selfies.
Like, I hated it so much.
I don't mean to
Like,
bash.
what are the things?
I don't mean to bash any like artists or anything who are making movies and stuff.
I mean,
But what
okay,
exactly-
the thing is, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie.
Well, what
It's one of those things
exactly?
where it's like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, what's going through your mind?
There was someone sitting in that boardroom, guys, teenagers, horror, Facebook, because that's still fucking relevant.
It would have been just great if Mark Zuckerberg came out at the end of the movie, and that was the twist at the end.
You know, another thing that. Oh god.
Actually, if I
Okay,
remember
guys.
correctly, Mark Zuckerberg was actually in the movie. Well, it wasn't Mark Zuckerberg himself, but it was an actor playing as Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, I wish that
in
would
the
have been
movie.
great.
Yeah, at the very end.
You know, one thing most people don't remember, and like I can tell, like I know neither of you remember this. Donald Trump was in the second Home Alone movie.
Yes, he was. That's a meme, dude.
Huh, yeah.
As soon as he got elected,
Yeah, no.
that started popping up everywhere.
No one I
Yeah.
know remembers that. No one I know remembers that President Trump was in the
I
goddamn
don't-
fucking movie. And I was like,
I
I
don't
remember it.
like. I remember watching CinemaSins episode on Home Alone 2, and Trump appears on screen, and they just give him 1,000 cents.
you know, I understand that he's a meme. I just don't understand why everyone fucking hates him.
I don't want to get political. Just the election's
Yeah,
over.
let's
The
not get
election.
political, please.
The election's over. I want it to stay that way.
I'm good enough with that.
Ah,
Also, by the way, guys, after this round we have the boss wave.
yeah, I know.
All right.
Which I don't even know who the boss is going to be for this.
Neither do I. They came out with a new.
Neither do
Oh,
we.
have you guys fought the new boss that came out?
No,
No.
we haven't.
Oh,
no,
I
dude,
hope.
remember, like this is.
I hope there should be 2 bosses that you guys haven't fought yet, and they're both really cool.
Help! Help! Help!
Oh well,
God.
Oh, no.
Undead
Yeah,
might not
that's
get that
another-
far.
That's another.
Help.
You know, that's another thing about these games that, you know, I don't think they get enough attention for, is that the amount of content they just put out.
Undead, help! Undead, undead!
Oh, that was just great.
I tried.
You guys alright?
Not try hard enough.
Are you guys
Oh,
alright?
fun.
Hey, where's Blade? What happened?
I'm dead.
Not here.
I walked out to turn on the generators, and now there's this red smear on the floor?
You know,
Yeah.
that shit happens, man.
Dude, drugs. That's all you need to know.
Looks like you need some.
You know, another thing.
It's like that Left 4 Dead meme where like the I forgot what his name was, but the guy was always like, "Pills here,"
Bill's here.
like he just
I
said
love
it
Coach.
like so intensely.
The only reason I play this character is because he's just like Coach. I love Coach. You know, I never, you know,
God,
I actually
no.
had a, oh god, I actually had Left 4 Dead 2 on my Xbox before I had internet, so I played all of Left 4 Dead 2 on my own, and that was so boring.
So, I found the big guy.
Oh, you found
He found
another.
my RPG.
Did you
He
find
found my
another?
RPG.
Oh yeah, there's another fleshbound. Oh, and a Scrake. Oh, this is wonderful. It's a good thing I bought this SMG.
Yeah, the Shrek killed me.
It's a good
so-
thing about this RPG.
Oh, you do have an RPG. That's good. Yeah, forgive us guys. We're just taking a quick second to not to suck.
Yeah. We're tryharding right now.
You know, we would one day, if we ever get a studio, if we ever ended up in studio, I would love to have a room where we just,
LAN party.
Oh yeah, we need.
yeah.
You know, I've
LAN
never been.
party and podcast would be so
Anyone who
amazing.
ends up watching this and has been to a LAN party, please tell me. I've never been to a LAN party before.
I've been to a LAN party.
one.
I want to go to a LAN party so freaking bad.
I've been to one LAN party.
What did you guys play whenever you went to LAN party?
World of Warcraft.
Oh, of course.
The
Yeah,
first time was World of Warcraft. The second time was Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, my first one was Rainbow Six Siege.
have you guys ever seen that picture of these this big ass group of guys playing in a LAN
and there's
party?
the one hanging from the ceiling?
Yes, duct taped to the ceiling.
Dude, everyone thinks I'm crazy when I mention it. I spent 4 years looking
No,
at that picture.
no, I've seen it. It's hilarious. Yeah, it just came
I
back
know.
out. Like someone found that picture somewhere recently, and it's been blowing up on the internet. It's hilarious. I think it's great.
And it's like everyone's like, dude, we're not crazy. We knew this was the thing from the start.
But yeah, the
like,
dude's
yeah,
just
no, I remember
the
that.
dude's like so into the LAN party that he's like eating a pizza, playing a game, hanging from duct tape from the
From the-
ceiling.
He's like, dude, what the fuck? Oh,
Oh.
God.
Have you guys seen this boss yet?
Oh. King
Nope.
Fleshhound.
This is the
Nah.
King Flashback. He came out with the Halloween update, very fitting for what map we're in, and he has Hyper Beam. He's learned Hyper Beam, just so you know.
Hyper Beam.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
I learned RPG.
Who's he? Oh yeah, he'll also
dear God,
summon.
he's near me.
he'll
He's
su-
next to me.
Okay, he'll
Please,
summon.
someone help.
Oh hi. He'll also summon half bounds, which are just really small flash bounds. So get out of here, God.
Nice.
Okay,
Well-
yep, bye. Rip me.
This is not ending. This isn't ending well for us.
Well, I hit that guy.
Yeah, this was bad. Oh, fun.
You know, it's not gonna end well for that Blade guy.
It's fine. We're on normal mode, guys.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Help! Help! He's coming after me. He wants my
So
booty hole.
you guys died a lot. You guys do know you can hold down square to heal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Thing is, I did not have enough time to run away and go and heal and
Oh,
then
you.
not
Oh,
die.
just heal whenever you can in this game because heal regens kind of like Estus in Dark Souls. So just heal. Like if you don't care about space, just heal. And thanks to our RPGs, by the way, RPGs are the most powerful gun in this game. Incredibly overpowered. Hate him, but I love him. Hyper beam.
It's...
Odette, careful.
Yeah,
You're about to die.
thank you.
Yep.
You know, if I die, at least I die helping you.
Yes. Hopefully I
died
can
for
be.
you, bro.
I mean, I'd be very upset if I couldn't kill him at this health.
Nice.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Gunslinger level 3.
So when it comes to this game, there's different classes that affect your stats on your weapons. I'm playing SWAT at the moment, so my SMGs are all stronger. But you guys saw I leveled up in Demolitionist. That would be because I use the RPG, a Demolitionist weapon. Nothing stops you from using any weapon from it on any class, but some classes have better perks that go with others. Never choose Firebug, otherwise you're garbage. I hate
I like it, just like never choose Firebug, otherwise you're garbage.
I hate Firebug. It's so bad. Let's do Krampus's Lair. This is a map. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, you can always subscribe and hit the like button so that I know that you enjoyed it. If you would like to see an uncut version of this podcast, there's one on the Unknown Armor channel that will be linked in the description. The Unknown Armor channel is a YouTube channel hosted by me and my friends Blade and Undead, who you heard in this podcast. The Unknown Armor channel will hopefully have content every other day, and if you really enjoy it, you can subscribe to them. But thank you guys one more time so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.